Hey everybody, welcome back to the Work Happier podcast. I'm your host, Shodawan. This topic is going to be an important one. It's how to explain the career gaps on your resume the right way. There is a lot of reasons why you might have a career gap or took a career break. Let's break them down. Let's break down the most common ones, and I'm gonna give you the exact scripts of what I would say if I was in your shoes. So many of our clients that come into Get Hired Academy, any of our programs, feel that they're not good enough because they have a career break. I just wanna give you the right tools to really understand how to answer this question because it is gonna come up. I think that's one of the most important things. You gotta expect that this question will come up. And it's how you answer it. It's how you riff off of it. It's how you can maybe make light of the situation. That's really what's going to propel you forward. I don't want you to focus too much on saying the exact same phrases or same exact words that I'm saying. At the end of the day, it's going to be around the energy shift. When your future boss or HR or hiring manager is going to ask you, can you explain this career gap? If they feel hesitance from you, that you're maybe hiding something or you feel ashamed or you feel some sort of way, that's going to hurt you more than you being just honest with them and being free with them and really saying it is what it is, right? Like this happened and this is how you respond to it and how you're excited to go on to this new role. Okay, so I'm giving you a little teaser of it right now. Let's deep dive into the most common scenarios that I see as a career coach and what you can do to prepare for it. Okay, let's do it. The first scenario that I want to talk about is if you've been affected by layoffs. All right, so it's 2024. It's actually more common than you think to be affected by layoffs. You might feel this deep shame that why me? I wasn't good enough. If I was better at my job, XYZ reasons. At the end of the day, you could have been the superstar. You could have been the guy, the gal on your team. But because your company didn't need your team anymore, because your company decided to go a different direction, you might still be on the chopping block. So don't take it personally, my friend. I think that's one of the most important things here. I'm saying there's a lot of important things, but that's one of them. Don't take these layoffs personally because the company is making this decision based off of so many factors. They're not just looking at a spreadsheet and saying, who's my best employees and who's my worst, and let's cut the worst. It's not like that. I was in HR. I know how layoffs get calculated. There's so many factors involved here. So don't take you being impacted, you having a layoff, don't take that personally. What I would encourage you to do is tell the truth, most importantly, but show your resourcefulness, show your optimism, show how you handle challenging times, because that's essentially what you're doing. So next time a hiring manager asks you, hey, Sho, I see that based on your resume, you're only with your role for 6 months. Can you explain what have you been doing since then? Let's just say they give you a question like that, and the reason why you're there for 6 months is because of layoffs. I don't want you to say, well, it wasn't really right for me, and I've been really trying to figure things out. And if you were part of layoffs, I think it's okay for you to tell the truth and tell them what happened. They're not going to judge you less because you were part of layoffs. What I suggest you to say is something like this. You start off with optimism. You start off with gratitude. While I enjoyed my 2 years at the organization, I learned my role was impacted during last summer's layoffs. So you just tell them what it is, right? Your role was impacted during the entire company layoff, team layoff, whatever the situation was. My company announced they're going through some fundamental organizational changes, and my role, along with XYZ, along with everyone else on my marketing team, along with my boss, whatever the situation was terminated. So you're setting up the scenario here. This is what happened, and I enjoyed my time, but unfortunately it came to an end because of these circumstances. So going back to what you could say, the layoff took me a little bit by surprise, if I'm honest with you. I didn't really see it coming because I got good feedback, I got good praise from my manager, but it was a good learning experience. It was the first time in my career that it's happened, and to be honest with you, it was a blessing in disguise. Right? So let's take a pause there. You see how we're still talking human to human, right? We're talking about the emotions. We're talking about what I learned from it, what it could mean in the future. I'm showing my optimism here. All of that is a good sign. And then continuing back with what you could say, I took it as an opportunity to reassess where I really want to take my career moving forward and upskill in areas that I always wanted to improve on. I'm passionate about digital marketing. I'm passionate about social media. And I actually went ahead and took some time off and learned some new skills and XYZ to help me become a digital marketing manager, right? There's little things that you can add in there to showcase how you've taken the circumstance and how you've become an even better manager because of it. So you can wrap up by saying, I'm so excited to talk to you today to learn more about this opportunity because it really sounds like a great fit and a place where I can use my current and new skill set. Okay, so what am I doing here? I'm saying all the great stuff that I learned from my past organization, even the one that I got laid off in, and the new skills that I learned from my new certifications, from my new classes, I'm gonna bring it all to you, baby. Okay? You're pretty much telling me you get all of it. The past, the current, and the future me, I'm a no-brainer hire. That's essentially what you're telling them. Got it, team? Just because you're part of a layoff does not mean you are unworthy. You are very valued. You are very skilled. If anything, you're even more skilled because you are able to go through a difficult time, learn some new emotional, mental, and technical and hard skills, and now better for it. Capiche? Okay, let's go to the second reason why you might have a career gap. Maybe you spent some time away from work to be a parent, to spend time with your family, to take care of a loved one. All of these are fair game. And a lot of our clients struggle with how to share this. I will first start off by saying it's a shame that I have to even give coaching on this in the first place, right? In an ideal world, a corporation would of course understand you're taking time away to be a parent. This is just life. That's just what happens. But at the end of the day, corporations are corporations. And of course, it's a human game. It's a people game. Most good hiring managers will understand there is still a certain way they like to hear these answers. Hence why I'm going to give you suggestions on what you could say and what I would say in this situation. Very similar to what we talked about in topic number 1. There's nothing wrong with you for taking a break. That's actually normal. You should be taking breaks. Life is long, and if you're just working, just to work, you're not really living life. You should take some time away to be with your family. You should take time to be with your young kids. If there's any shame around that for you, I'm gonna tell you right now, stop, okay? Coach Show, Friend Show is telling you, there is no need for you to have any shame for you taking time to prioritize your family. You're being a good mom. You're being a good dad. Let me just help you with the story. Let's say you became a full-time parent. You had a young one, maybe 2 young ones, and you stepped away from your role, spent time with your kids. Now it's been 2 years and you want to come back to work, right? So what can you say? Remember, there's kind of a corporate way to say it, right? You shouldn't say, yeah, I spent the last 2 years away being a parent and nothing's changed, so I can just go back to work and business as usual, right? If you do something like that, which is, I think is a completely fine answer, but the danger of that is they think of you as potentially arrogant, potentially you as not with the times anymore, especially if it's been 2, 3 plus years. So there's just a little finessing here. This is what another response that you could say. I was at a point in my career where it was a really difficult decision to step away. But I felt it was the best time for me to spend time with my family. I chose to stay at home and take care of my newborn son full time. And looking back, I don't regret it. I think it was really great to be a part of my son's world as he was kind of learning through life. In the meantime, you see what I'm doing there, guys? You're showcasing that family, what you did was amazing, but you also, hence story of this, in the meantime, I was able to keep my skills fresh by helping out my friend's side hustle and volunteering on the weekends. I actually am part of a church where they're hosting this big charity event. I was actually the lead XYZ, and I put together a lot of different things with the vendors. I actually contacted my old boss and invited him out as well. Even though it was a really great break that I took for the last 2 years, being a single mom, being a full-time parent. Even though family time was amazing while I was a full-time mom, I also learned a lot being a parent to a newborn, but also learning my skills and learning new skills in different ways. With my friend's side hustle, with volunteering, I did a lot of reading. That's why now my son is now starting school. We just got a sitter that I love, who's really part of the family. I'm feeling now it's the right time to go back into my career and really hit play again from where I left off. I'm just really excited to hit the ground running. So thank you so much for meeting with me. I'm excited to talk about what we can accomplish here together. Okay, so a little bit of a workaround here that I gave, but I hope you can see a little sections of that worked. We don't have any shame about being a mom, being about a parent. We talk good about it. We talk about what it's helped us do with our family. It helped us. We gush about our son, about our daughter, about our child. They can probably empathize too, right? And we also slide in there how you kept your skills fresh. I was able to learn some new skills. I was able to volunteer. I learned some new time management skills as a parent, whatever you want to say. But it shows that you're forward thinking, that you kept your skills fresh. And then at the wrap up, you talk about now the situation is better. My son is now older. I have a sitter. I'm ready to hit the ground running. I'm ready to press play again on my career and really restart my career again. You see how that all works? So that is what I would say if I spend some time, some years away to be a full-time parent. Let's move on to number 3. Let's say you took a gap because you had a shitty boss. Let's say you had a toxic job and you just had to get away. I'm gonna tell you what not to say. You probably heard this before from my other videos. You can't say, I had a shitty boss. Again, it's unfortunate. I wish you could just tell them the truth because there's shitty bosses out there and some people just need to know, yo,
I had a shitty boss and I couldn't stand him or her and I needed a break.
I wish you could say that, but I would advise against it because as the hiring manager, if I don't know your boss, if I don't really know you, I'm meeting you for the first time through these interviews, right? And I hear you complaining about someone, I don't automatically give you the benefit of the doubt. I don't know you well enough to give you the benefit of the doubt. So in my head as a hiring manager, I'm thinking, well,
maybe this person is negative Nancy. Maybe this is just someone who's just always complaining.
I don't know. So you don't want to take that gamble with your new hiring manager. I encourage you, if you had a toxic boss, if you had a toxic manager, I know it's hard, take the high road here, my friend. Talk about that it just wasn't the right fit. Share more about that you thought this role was going to give you XYZ role and XYZ projects, and it didn't. And the projects that really scream to you, that really get you excited are the projects for this new role. That's why you're applying here. Does that make sense? Talk about why you're being pulled into this new role besides being pushed out of your old role. That's a bar right there. But do more of that. Why you're being pulled into your new role as opposed to being pushed out by your old toxic boss, toxic work culture. That's the name of the game there. So that's how I would reframe you telling your story about a toxic work situation. The fourth, let's just say you're bored and you wanted to upskill. Same kind of finessing, right? Where you can say,
I was bored. I want to learn new skills. I'm here.
I think you still can. It's fine, right? People can understand, hey, a career is long. You will get bored sometimes. This is my 5th year doing WorkCap. Sometimes I get bored talking about interviews all the time. Sometimes I get bored talking about resumes all the time. That's life. That's natural. So I think if you do want to say it up front, they can understand that too. But I do have a example that you could use. You could say something like this. After 4 years with my last role, I had a great time with my manager. I met some amazing people. I really did some really interesting work. I found myself just in a bit of a rut. I felt like I wasn't really learning. I felt like my data skills were limited and just not up to par with the market. And being a data analytics manager, I really just wanted to continuously upskill and be a better asset for my data team. So I decided that I wanted to take the next few months, few years, whatever the situation might be. And I actually enrolled in a new certification program. And I actually enrolled in a full-time master's program. And I actually did XYZ, whatever the situation is. And I learned so much in that 1 year. I learned so much in that time frame. I'm so excited to take those new skills and really add to my existing arsenal in my data set. That's a little bit of a mouthful, but you get the idea, right? Where I'm saying I got new skills, I'm adding on to what I already had, and I'm going to be even a better data analytics manager moving forward. So very similar to the first scenario of the layoffs. You have your current, you have your past, you have your future. You're bringing all three in this multiverse to the new role. That's essentially what you're saying. That's it from me this week, guys. I hope you learned how to explain career gaps the right way versus the wrong way. Remember, no shame. You got all the skills you need for that role. Keep going. I'll see you next week. All right? Take care.